Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Ryan Report. Today we have the Varsity girls soccer team. I am joined by Coach Perry and his captains. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
So let's keep it simple. How do you think the season's going so far? We're about halfway through, maybe a little bit more. How's it going?
In my opinion, I think it's going very well. I mean, I really didn't have many expectations going into this season. It was very new. But we've had a really strong season. We started off very strong with Hingham and a win. So that gave us a good confidence boost, and we kept the good energy going for a good bit of time.
Awesome. You mentioned goals for the season. What your expectations for the season? What were some of the goals the team set for this season?
At the beginning of the season, Perry actually asked us a goal that we had. We said top 10 in Division 1. I mean, we're almost there, but I don't know if we're going to make it, but that was a pretty lengthy goal.
Did you have any personal goals this season?
Kind of just lead the team with confidence. I don't know, keep us positive and strong as like a whole, and be like a force to be reckoned with this in the Patriot League this season.
That's great, and clearly that's coming to fruition.
Yeah.
I believe last I checked, you were 7-5 and 1. Is that correct? No, 9-3 and 3. Excuse me. Sorry, everybody. So I'd say it's a pretty good record thus far. Coach, how do you feel the season's gone? This is your first season with the team, correct?
First season with the team. I mean, I'm not sure what my expectations were. I always tell the girls 18-0. You know, you come into it and I saw the quality of the team, and for me it's you can win any game. You look around, the Patriot League is strong, but we have the ability to beat teams. Even in our performances, in spite of some of the results, we've been brilliant for a lot of the year. Like Peyton said, we started really well, and we hadn't even realized who we were as a team at that point. We hadn't reached our potential. A couple of setbacks, you know, as it is in the game, and then we bounced back again. So for me, trying to get those guys to figure out what they want to be, and then trying to find a consistency, fix the culture. I think that was a big thing coming in, to get everyone to understand what the expectations were and to raise our standards, and just to get them feeling appreciated, because I think, you know, to play this well and to be such an important part of your life, and then to not have anyone in the stands or not even have the same backpacks, you know, things we tried to change good and early on. I think that was an important goal for me.
And talking about coming into this season, you know, this is your first season as the coach for the varsity team. What's some of your background from before?
How far back do you want to go?
As far as you're willing to tell us.
I started coaching at the age of 16. My high school paid for my first coaching license, kind of with the expectation I'd go back there and coach there. I was lucky then, when I went to college, to be able to coach the women's team. When I was finishing off my degree, there was an email that went around to all the sports students about an opportunity to coach in the USA. It was only meant to be one summer. You know, I came here, I loved it, and then, long story short, here we are 15 years later. But a few different clubs, you know, you try to be loyal to them, but at the same time, you want to realize your potential and find the best match for you. So I landed at Mass City. I was there as a girls director for 7 years. I had players like Ryan around for a long time. I took her to England and went and toured that. So to be able to now finally come into the high school game again after a long time away was a goal of mine, and it's been great so far, and I hope we can keep it going for many years. As long as I'm welcome here, I'll be here.
That's wonderful. What was it like adapting to a new head coach?
Well, coming off of last year and having Perry as our new coach, it was kind of just a whole different culture and a new energy that he just brought to the team. Like, tryouts were just different, preseason was different, our first practice was different, everything was just different, and it was different in a good way. And he kind of brought this vibe where he held us to such a high expectation, especially in our first game where he expected us to beat Hingham by a lot, when we haven't done that in a while. So I think having a coach that kind of holds his whole team to such a high expectation made us want to be better and kind of prove to him that we can be the team that he thinks that we are.
That's wonderful.
But for me, it was always about them proving it to themselves. You know, we talked before the Hingham game, and I kept telling them, I know you will beat them. I believe we will beat them. And it wasn't until afterwards we talked about it the next day, and they were like, none of us believe we were going to beat them. You know, it was one of those things. If you prepare properly, and I think that's important for me. You know, we tried to humanize some of their amazing players. You know, we had the assistant coach wearing a Hingham jersey just to make it lighthearted, but also to show them these are the kind of things that's going to happen, and this is how we deal with it. And again, like Peyton said, to go into that first game and to be brilliant against them and to really set the tone for the season was excellent. And then to have them again here and do the same thing, it was special for me, as you know, obviously being there last year. So it was a good game.
So while we're on the topic of the Hingham game from last week, I know in Marshfield there's always a rivalry with Hingham across all the sports. So to see you guys beat them quite decisively was wonderful. But we have a clip from that game last week. So if Heather in our studio here could show that clip right here, I'd appreciate that very much.
The birthday goal, Ryann Doyle. Jamie Burkhardt.
What a contrast between those two goals. The first one, absolutely lovely, just perfect curl right into the top corner there. And then the second one doesn't need to be pretty, like you just get in there, ton of bodies in there, and you just find the way to get the ball in the net. I think that's awesome, and it doesn't matter how it goes in, but it sure looks cool when it goes in like the first one. But how do you keep that momentum going? Because it was right before second half, like the end of the first half. You're up 2-0. How do you keep that drive going as a team and not like let off the gas now that you're 2 up, with giving the other team an opportunity to break for about 15 minutes before you go again?
I think we all just like have the mentality that we want more. Like we're never like settled with, or like I don't know what the word is, like satisfied with just one. Like we all want to just like put as many as we can and just like give as much as we can.
Now, were you thinking anything in particular when like that ball came to your feet there? Like, or are you just like, I'm just gonna boot this?
No,
like,
it was just perfectly placed, perfect timing. I just got lucky and perfectly went in. Goalie was caught a little off her line, so used the sun to my advantage. Just put it in the back.
You could see it in her eyes from the warm-up, you know, being a birthday, being like a big game against a team that, you know, we were determined and desperate to beat again. You know, having the expectation they were going to come in there and want revenge after their first game, you know, being state champions, and we're the first team to beat them in a couple of years. So you just see there was a different energy in Ryann and in the team in that warm-up, and to lead by example, I think, is special, and to score any goal, but especially one like that.
Absolutely. And we don't have clips of the other ones, but there's been some spectacular goals scored by everybody on the team so far this season. Free kicks, corners, it's been a delight to watch you guys this season.
We're deadly.
I agree. Even the way you guys build up the field too, the passing, it's wonderful to watch at a high school level in a way that I don't think I've really seen the past couple years. I've been here about 8 years covering all the sports teams, and you guys are just very tactical. It's very impressive to watch. With that said, do you guys have a favorite play of the season so far? Whether it be a goal, defense, anything.
But there's so many.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
It's a hard question, I know.
My favorite goal is by Cammy Picard, Braintree. I didn't expect it to like be it was such a powerful shot. I wasn't even like watching the ball, and then I just see like a rocket go to the back corner, and I was like, oh my goodness, and it just went in. It was by such a surprise.
Cammy's had a few. We keep telling her goalless season after goalless season, and other players are starting to jump in and have a few more of them. So it's like you say that we score all kinds of different goals, and they don't have to be pretty, but a lot of them are.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, my Maggie's save against Hingham in that first game was,
Yeah.
that really set the tone for the season. 1-0 up, 5 minutes left, right, when it felt like 25 minutes, and it just kept going on, and she just pulls off a just one hell of a save. And I don't know, you build off of that. Those are the moments. It's as good as a goal, right? It won us the game, so.
Absolutely. Any favorites from you?
Lindsay Bakarian's goal against Hingham, the first goal of the season, that was just killer.
Amazing.
The pictures from the celebration as well. Brilliant.
Really set the tone for the season.
Yeah.
It really did.
Any favorites for you?
I don't know. That's a hard one.
How about your goal?
You can be selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't.
It was a good header.
Plymouth North.
It was. Ryan gave me a perfect ball off of a corner kick, and I kind of just saw it, and it just had to put my head on it, and just went in the net. So.
That's wonderful.
I don't know.
That's how goals work.
It's a good goal.
I mean, it started with her corner kick, so she had the hard work. I just had to touch it.
Sometimes it's all you need.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Jetty. So we will be right back. Let's hear a word from our sponsor, the Jetty. Looking for a great place to hang out, eat a delicious meal, and have a drink? The Jetty in Brant Rock is the place to be. The Jetty has all the makings of a great time and features live music and entertainment for you to enjoy. The Jetty. Eat, drink, chill. Hello and welcome back. Thank you to the Jetty for sponsoring this show. Let's get right back to it. Coach, how would you describe your coaching style?
I think you should ask the players that, actually. I have really high expectations, and I think that's, it's been touched on already. My club team that I had for a long time, they would say that I'm never happy. And it wasn't that. It's just in every moment, even a 5-0 win, I'm always looking for ways to improve. I look at the girls and I ask so much of them that I find that I have to demand the same for myself. I'm spending hours a day watching video, reviewing what we're doing, previewing the opponent. And it's just always that, is there one little thing that we missed? What can we control? What can we do better? Like you say, your compliments about the style and the tactics, that comes from having the level of players that we have, not just with their feet, but with their brains and the determination and how hard they work and the preparation we do beforehand. And I think that's really where the coaching style comes down to. I told them when I first met them, I'll criticize them and it'll be detailed and it'll be honest and we'll have feedback and we'll fix it. But it's always about improving. In a win or a loss, it's always how can we move forward, how can we get better?
And how would you, captains, describe his style? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'd say that's very accurate. He always wants like the 1%. Like he said it in practice, I remember specifically. Like he's always looking for that 1%. He'll never be satisfied, but it just makes you a better player.
Absolutely. I think that's usually what all good coaches say. They're never quite fully satisfied.
I mean, and listen, there's been plenty that we can be proud of. The girls have had tremendous performances and the progress so far has been outstanding. I think if we want to meet a goal of going deeper in the playoffs and pushing as far as we can, then sometimes, nobody likes to be criticized, but if you show me one top sportsman or woman that doesn't receive criticism and grow from it, I think it's something that's necessary. And the same for me, I take criticism and I don't like it, but it is what it is, and we grow from that. So it's why we are where we are.
I think that's very prudent. We are kind of getting into like the stretch, the home stretch of the season. I think probably about a month left, including the playoffs and everything.
Yeah.
It's really important for the team to kind of be together at this time of the season. What do you guys do to bond? How do you nurture that team spirit?
Well, I mean, we actually just came from a team bond this interview, so that's kind of fits. We try to do pasta parties before every game after our practices, which is just a good way for all of us to kind of be together before a game and carbo load together. Perry's been trying to have us do team bonding stuff throughout the season. I think we had one at the beginning of the season, and then we had one today, and then we're going to try to do one before the playoffs start, just to kind of get us tighter together and hopefully play better together once we enter the playoffs.
That's great. Everybody loves a good pasta party, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic. Are there any more remaining matches that you're really looking forward to?
Definitely. Next week, I'd say it's pretty important. I mean, Plymouth North and Duxbury. I mean, we lost to Duxbury on our homecoming night, and I think we're coming for vengeance, 100%.
Back-to-back, boys and girls both lost to Duxbury.
Both 2-1, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one stung a little bit.
It was.
Yeah.
It was,
It did.
Left a mark.
Well, I hope you get your vengeance.
Thank you.
Please. For all of Marshfield, please. Coach, how would you say the tactics at this level of play differ from other levels of play that you've coached at?
I mean, I coached at different levels, and I think always there's some overlap. I think that the important thing for me is being able to adapt. You know, you want to be able to control some things, and every coach has their own style. But when you come in here, and it's like you said earlier, there's not been a lot of pretty soccer in the high school kind of level for a little while now. Still, you see a couple of teams that they're very much boot it forward, and you know, it's going away now. You're starting to get a lot of good coaches coming in that are trying to change that. I think a big thing for me in terms of the difference in the tactics is that to have the ability to work with the players every day, you can evolve much quicker, right? Even just in terms of how we line up in games, or who plays in what positions, maybe who we look to first in subs in certain games. There are things you can figure out a lot quicker when you see these players every day. And I just think that it makes it, for me, easy tactically when you have players that understand what you're asking of them. And they've shown that so far. We're a smart team. We're an organized team. We're mentally strong. We're able to win those one-goal games. So my approach hasn't been that different, to be honest with you. I think it's just find what works best for the girls and try to find a way to communicate that to them so we can be on the same page.
Over the summer, the Women's World Cup happened. Did you guys watch that at all?
Yeah.
But,
Some of it.
yeah.
Are there any players that you sort of model yourselves after?
I would say I look up to Lindsay Horan. She's not like the flashiest player, but she just works hard, and she has really good work ethic, and she just gets her job done. And she leads the team by example.
Flash is a good word.
Now, let's get into some of the fun questions. What's the best food here in the lunchroom?
By far, tangerine chicken
Tangerine chicken.
with the rice pilaf. So
Okay. That's the first time I've heard that on
good.
here.
I'm surprised. I'm like, actually.
It's usually been chicken patty or pizza, so that's a refreshing change of pace.
Pizza's good, but tangerine chicken is so good.
Peyton?
I'm not a school lunch person.
Well, what do you bring to lunch?
Well, I bring Cheez-Its, Goldfish, maybe a protein bar.
Staples.
Yeah,
Makes me look good.
Nice balanced lunch.
thank you.
Marissa,
I'm with Peyton. I'm not a school lunch person either.
what do you bring?
Whatever food I have in my house.
I bring lunch, but on tangerine chicken days, I eat the tangerine chicken.
What do you usually bring?
Skittles.
Goldfish. I live off goldfish.
I think if my wife could, she probably would too.
Yeah.
Who's the funniest on the team?
Aside from me.
I'm sorry, I wasn't going there.
Oh,
Our assistant coach, Mark.
wow. That's dark.
Agreed. Agreed.
Like, he just
Funny
so
guy.
witty. It's so quick.
He is
Comes
funny.
Natural.
He has some quick comebacks.
He was a good hire.
Funny in the group chat too.
Funny in the group chat.
Yeah.
As we kind of wrap up the show here, and going into the end of the season, are there any things you kind of hope you achieve for yourself and for your team as you kind of get to the end?
I don't know, but for the team, I kind of hope we make it farther in the tournament than we did last year.
Yeah.
I mean, we only made it to the first round last year, but still making it farther than that would be an accomplishment to those who played last year.
Coach, is there anything you'd like to see from them as we wrap up this season?
No, I mean, they've got the tools to go on and beat anyone, and I really believe that now. I think when we looked in the preseason and we played Hopkinton, you're like, wow, like they're a step above, like they're a good level. And obviously they've improved over the year, but so have we. And I just think when you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. You know, and if we are at our best, and a lot of this second half of the season we have been, nobody scares us. You know, for me, I tell the girls every game, you can respect them, but don't fear them. You know, I truly believe we can go on a good run if we can just keep pulling together in the same direction.
Well, I think that's a great place to end it there. Thank you all for being on the show today. I really appreciate your time. And that's all we have for today for the Ram Report. I'm your host, Sean Leary, and this has been the girls varsity soccer team. Make sure you watch on YouTube all the games if you can't catch them live or be there in person. We've got them all the home games, and we'll follow as many of the playoff games away as we can. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Looking for a great place to hang out, eat a delicious meal, and have a drink? The Jetty of Brant Rock is the place to be. The Jetty has all the makings of a great time and features live music and entertainment for you to enjoy. The Jetty. Eat, drink, chill.